Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Archana Solanki. Here are the headlines we're tracking this evening. Sensex and Nifty hit their highest level in a month. Nifty reclaims 22,800 mark. All sectoral indices end with healthy gains. Rupee rallies against the dollar. The ceasefire in Gaza breaks down. At least 325 Palestinians are killed in a fresh wave of Israeli airstrikes. Israel's Prime Minister blames the lack of progress in truce talks. Hamas calls it a treacherous attack on defenseless civilians.
With the right support from Allianz as and when required, but fully empowered board and management, and as a result, no, we don't need another part.
Bajaj and Allianz part ways, ending a 24-year alliance. Bajaj Finserv and promoter groups will acquire Allianz's 26% stake in life and general insurance JVs for over 24,000 crore rupees. Sanjeev Bajaj says Bajaj will go solo and doesn't need a partner now. Adds there will be no change in leadership. Allianz will be released from the non-compete clause once the first tranche of the transaction is completed. LIC is all set to foray into health insurance. CEO Siddharth Mohanty says the behemoth will announce an acquisition in the health insurance sector by the end of this month, but will not hold a majority stake. Government sets up a panel to address regulatory challenges faced by the fintech sector. The new committee will bring all stakeholders together, signaling a concerted effort to streamline regulations and promote innovation. Get ready to pay more to fly in and out of Mumbai. Adani proposes an expansion plan to increase capacity, seeks to more than triple the user development fee for international passengers and introduce a 325 rupee fee for domestic passengers. Airport tariff regulator yet to take a final call. Aircraft maker Boeing is all in on India, says senior executive Brendan Nelson. The company is looking to increase manufacturing in India and expand its footprint. That's an exclusive. Over 50 people detained and 5 cases registered after violence in Nagpur. Vehicles were torched and 4 police personnel were injured after rumours that a holy book was desecrated during a demonstration by right-wing outfits, including Bajrang Dal. Chief Minister Fadnavis says the violence was pre-planned. Shares of Chinese electric car maker BYD hits a record high after it claims the new technology can charge the car almost as quickly as it takes to fill petrol. Claims the new technology can achieve 400 kilometers of range with just 5 minutes of charging. All right, let's start with the stock market action. A strong rebound on the last street as Sensex and Nifty posted their biggest single-day rally in nearly 2 months. Sensex gained over 1,100 points to move back above the 75,000 mark. All sectoral indices end in with healthy gains today. Prashant Nair is here with the market wrap.
Well, a strong session and a confident kind of price action today for the Nifty Bank, mid-cap, small-cap indices. Never looked back, no choppiness, and no chop really through the course of the day. Just steady upward kind of move. What that resulted in technically is the fact that all 4 indices today have crossed the daily near-term moving average, which is the 20-day moving average. Typically, a strong throwover over this level suggests further gains, at least in the near term. So we'll see how this proceeds. But if anything, in the last 30-40 minutes, the market actually did even better and piled on gains. What did well actually is also interesting. The capital market space did well. Real estate did well. And you also had the micro caps, small caps, etc., which participated quite enthusiastically. This is all high beta and kind of tells you about the texture of the kind of day that we had. Now, I'll just start with large caps and what did well and, where there was sort of action coming through. So on the Nifty, you had ICICI Bank, which was the biggest gainer, 3.5%. Mahindra & Mahindra was up 3%. L&T was up 3%. Shriram Finance was up 3% as well. So 4 names with gains of in excess of 3% today. On the downside, except Bajaj Finserv, which came off a little over 1%, there wasn't very much to really write home about. Now, as far as the broader space is concerned, that's, I think, where the enthusiasm really came through. 4:1, advances outnumbered declines. Zomato, after a long time, was the biggest volume-led gainer, 7.5%. Names like Triveni Turbine, Mastec, 14%. Ola Electric, coming off very bombed-out levels, 13%. Mobi Quick was down 10, up 20 today. Paytm, after a long time, back up 8%. Raymond was up 14%. Policy Bazaar, we had the management with us 7% after that commentary. Wellspun Living was up 10%. Blue Star was up 8%. Finolex Cables up 10%. Morrison Laboratories, Shilpa Medicare, I can go on. Sula was up 12%. Of course, I mean, many of these names have been sold off very, very aggressively, and we saw some revival coming through. On the downside, Hitachi was the big loser, 5.5% loss. Castrol was down 6%. Gensol down about 5%. You had a couple of other names. But again, like yesterday, volumes very much on the side of stocks which went up strongly. I think that has been the hallmark for the broader market, which provides a little bit of sense that the texture in the market has been changing for the past many days. Back to you.
Right, thank you, Prashant, for that. In the money market, the rupee continues to regain lost ground against the US dollar. The rupee gained over 23 paisa today as the dollar index remains under pressure. The rupee was one of the strongest emerging market currencies. The rally has come after the February trade data showed that on a goods plus services basis, India will post a current account surplus in the current quarter. 10-year sovereign bond prices also perked up in trade, leading to a drop in the yields. Crude oil prices gained 1% owing to rising tensions in West Asia and weakness in the US dollar index. An improvement in China's retail sales also sparked hopes of demand revival and supported prices. Meanwhile, gold prices hit record highs. This as investors sought cover from economic concerns fueled by US President Donald Trump's tariff policies. The big story of the day: Bajaj will buy out Allianz's stake in its life and general insurance businesses. This brings the curtains down on a 24-year-old alliance and clears the runway for Allianz to chart a separate course. Bajaj Finserv and promoter groups will acquire Allianz's 26% stake in the insurance arms for over 24,000 crore rupees. The transaction will give the Bajaj Group 100% ownership in both the companies. The deal is subject to regulatory approvals. CNBC-TV18 spoke with Sanjeev Bajaj, the chairman and managing director of Bajaj Finserv, exclusively earlier today, calling the deal a win-win. Sanjeev Bajaj said that both partners reinforced their strategic intent for India, but with different paths. Allianz has said it will use the sales proceeds to support the company's strategic ambitions in India. Bajaj said that Allianz will be released from the non-compete clause once the first tranche of the transaction is complete. He emphasized that they are going to walk solo as far as the insurance business is concerned. He said that they have a fully empowered board and management and do not need any more partners. When asked about whether IPOs were on the cards, Bajaj said that the board will consider them at a suitable time and share details once they firm up plans, if any. Sanjeev Bajaj also asserted that the same leadership teams will continue steering the businesses. He said that the board, which meets later this week, will take a call on Bajaj Finance MD Rajiv Jain, whose term ends on the 31st of March. However, Bajaj reiterated Mr. Jain's commitment to the business.
This has actually been a great win-win deal for both partners. Both partners have reinforced their strategic intent for India, but with different paths. And from Bajaj's point of view, the Bajaj Group reinforces its focus in India on the insurance business at 24,180 crore that we are going to be investing to buy the 26% stake in both our insurance companies. I believe this should be the single largest investment in the insurance space ever in India, and one of the largest investments in the financial services space. We see no change at all at any operational level. Our partnerships will continue to be the same. We are very clear that given the capabilities that have been built in both our companies now, almost 24 years old, both the companies are perfectly capable on going solo. Effectively, as I said, the board has been running both the companies, a board that is controlled by Bajaj, and with the right support from Allianz as and when required, but fully empowered board and management. And as a result, no, we don't need another partner. If you also see the Indian insurance space in the last decade or so, this is not new. There have been multiple companies, including most of the leading companies, where the Indian promoter has gone solo, and most of those businesses have actually even done better.
And you can catch the entire conversation with Bajaj Finserv CMD Sanjeev Bajaj at 5:30 and 9:30 p.m. right here on CNBC TV18. Right, staying with the insurance space, LIC is set to enter the health insurance space. Company CEO Siddharth Mohanty told CNBC TV18 that LIC will make an announcement about its foray by the end of this month. However, he clarified that LIC will not hold a majority stake in the health insurer where it invests.
Health insurance, definitely we are proposal discussion is going on at final stage. So, and that is a natural choice for LIC to be in health insurance. Yeah. Within this financial, because regulatory approval takes time, and I am very much hopeful within this financial, before 31st March, I think some decision can be taken. It will be not a majority stake, means there will not be, LIC will not have 51% stake.
So it will be a minority stake?
No, it will not have 51% stake.
Shares of PB Fintech surged nearly 8% in trade after the company announced plans to invest nearly 700 crore rupees into its healthcare subsidiary. Speaking with CNBC TV18, PB Fintech Group CEO Yashish Dhaya clarified that the company's stake in the healthcare venture will not cross 25%. He added that shareholders investing in PB Health must not do so only for profits, but for a purpose.
By the time round 1A and 1B are over, because it's done in 1A and 1B, I think PB Fintech would be down to about 25-26%. Financial return is not the sole driver for Policybazaar either. The primary objective of Policybazaar is to grow insurance penetration in India, specifically in health insurance and term insurance.
Tata Motors has said it will increase prices across its passenger vehicle range from April. The price hike will also be applicable to electric vehicles. The auto major said that it's increasing prices to partially offset the impact of rising input costs. The extent of the hike will vary depending on the model and variant. The announcement comes a day after the company announced an up to 2% price hike in its commercial vehicle segment. Bharti Enterprises chairman Sunil Bharti Mittal is considering increasing his holding in BT Group. According to a Financial Times report, Mittal had acquired 24.5% stake in the UK telecom giant last year. The report also stated that he is in the process of converting his current stake, which was partially acquired through derivatives, into equity. The British firm is currently undergoing a cost-cutting and restructuring phase under Chief Executive Alison Kirkby. The government has set up a committee to examine the regulatory issues that the fintech sector is facing. Government sources have said that the panel will submit the report in 3 months from the first meeting. Sapna Das joins us now with the details. Sapna, what are your sources telling you?
Well, what we are given to understand probably is the fact that, this high-level panel will look into the risk factors which are there in the market as of now, the way the fintech ecosystem has shaped up, and more important, what kind of policy and regulatory challenges that it faces. So this panel is going to have representation not only from the government, but also from the industry. Some of the founding members of, say, like, for example, BillDesk and, some other players, they're also going to be part of the panel. Of course, you're going to have representation from regulators like SEBI and RBI, and from the government side, primarily it's going to be DFS, DEA, from the Finance Ministry, METI, Niti Aayog, DPIIT to name the main players in this panel. So, as I just said, it's an assessment process that will be undertaken, and going forward, we'll have to wait and watch for the report that will come out. Because, over the last couple of months, as we are all aware about, the fintech industry is exploding. So, there can be regulatory gaps, which the industry has been talking about, probably a framework for the fintech sector, which has been asked for a long time, and what kind of policy challenges that are there, which the government probably at its end will try and resolve. So, these are things that are in the works. We'll have to wait and watch and see what kind of report actually emerges.
All right, thank you, Sapna, for that. On that note, it's time for a short break. Coming up next, get ready to pay more to fly in and out of Mumbai. Adani proposes an expansion plan to increase capacity. More details when we return. Welcome back. Get ready to pay more to fly in and out of Mumbai. Adani Group, which runs the airport, has proposed an expansion plan to increase capacity. It is seeking to more than triple the user development fee for international passengers and introduce a 325 rupee fee for domestic passengers. Airport tariff regulator is yet to take a final call. Madiha Mujawar is here with more. Madiha, what is Adani proposing?
Well, Adani Airports submitted this tariff proposal for Mumbai Airport on the 17th of March, which is yesterday, where they have specified the tariff they want. They had submitted a detailed expansion plan with the airport tariff regulator, ERA, earlier. ERA had put up a consultation paper on the 10th of March on its website based on the airport's proposed expansion plan, the capex and revenue it projects, and the tariff increase it would need. In that proposal, Mumbai Airport had proposed a capital expenditure of 17,439 crores, revenue target of 38,724 crores for the fourth control period from 2025 to 2026, and a hike of 675% in aeronautical tariffs. But ERA had slashed the capex to 7,800 crores. Target revenue was slashed from 38,000 crores to 7,600 crores, and tariff increase was slashed from 675% that Mumbai Airport proposed, Adani Airport proposed, to 18%, and asked the airport operator to submit its tariff plan accordingly. But in its tariff proposal submitted on the 17th of March, Adani Airport has hiked the UDF for Mumbai Airport from nil to 325 rupees per passenger for domestic flights, and from 187 rupees to 650 rupees per passenger for international flights. So that's an increase of over 300% on domestic side and 250% on the international side. But this may not be necessarily the final rates, as this is also a proposal by Adani Airports. It will go through stakeholder consultation, and there is a meeting that is scheduled on the 25th of March, and only after that the airport's economic regulatory authority will approve or finalize the final tariffs. Whether it will be slightly less or very less, we will know once ERA takes the final decision.
Right, thank you, Madiha, for that. We'll have to see how the impact pans out as far as the passengers are concerned. Shifting focus now, Boeing Senior Vice President Brendan Nelson has said that India is emerging as a superpower, and the airline giant is doing all they can to grow their presence in the Indian market. Speaking exclusively with Shireen Bhan, Nelson reiterated that the company is all in as far as India is concerned, and they are working with the government to build a world-class aero center.
Well, certainly India, and look, I should say that what Prime Minister Modi has done over more than a decade in transforming India, in reforms in finance, in IT, investments in infrastructure, the energy transition, and many other reforms, have created a country which is now certainly an emergent, close to a superpower. At the moment, India, Akasa, Air India, they have ordered 446 Boeing commercial aeroplanes, and we are working hard to make those planes and to deliver them. It's not for us to tell India what we should be developing. What we do is we say to India, what sort of capabilities do you want, and how might we be able to work with you in co-investing, co-developing this product in India, as I say, for India. So we're all in as far as India is concerned.
You're all in, but have you had some feedback come in from the government on where they would like you to partner with us?
Well, one of the constant refrains, I know you're going to ask me anyway, but one of the constant refrains, Prime Minister Modi, Minister Goyal, is, when are you going to build a final assembly line for commercial aeroplanes? I knew you were going to ask me. So look, we're on a journey. We're working with India to build a world-class aerospace sector.
And you will catch the full conversation with Brendan Nelson, Senior Vice President at the Boeing Company, at 7:30 p.m. right here on CNBC-TV18. Israel has launched a series of strikes in central Gaza, killing over 330 people and shattering a fragile ceasefire that began in January. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the attack was in response to refusal to release hostages and rejection of all ceasefire proposals. Israeli Defense Forces have said it was targeting what it called terror targets belonging to Hamas. Palestinian health officials reported that many of the dead were children. The strikes come after weeks of failed negotiations between Israel and Hamas over the remaining 59 hostages still held in Gaza. Hamas has condemned the provocation, calling it unprovoked. The militant group added that Israel has now put the fate of the hostages in jeopardy. Ukraine has insisted that it will not compromise on its territorial integrity despite Russia. Speaking at the Raisina dialogue in Delhi, Ukrainian foreign minister said that Kyiv is only interested in an unconditional ceasefire. He added that Ukraine will US President Donald Trump has announced that Chinese President Xi Jinping will visit Washington soon. This comes amid escalating trade disputes between the Addressing the media, Trump said, and I quote, "He will be coming in the not-too-distant future," end quote. If this fructifies, the visit will mark the first meeting between the two leaders since Donald Trump's return to the White House.
We had the head of China coming in to top people right underneath President Xi, and he'll be coming in the not-too-distant future. When we had India last week, we had France last week. We had a lot of people. We had Ireland, we had UK, and they come in and I say, "How's it looking?" They say, "Oh, it looks much better."
Telecom Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia has said that Starlink must meet all application guidelines to secure a license in India. Speaking with Money Control, Scindia added that the government remains open to competition in the satellite broadband sector. However, Starlink must check all the boxes to acquire its license. He also said that the TRAI is expected to announce spectrum pricing soon. After that, the government will allocate spectrum based on TRAI's recommendations. This has come after telecom giants Airtel and Jio platforms both announced partnerships with SpaceX to bring Starlink into India. Chinese EV maker BYD has unveiled a new system for electric cars that it said could make it possible for EVs to charge as quickly as it takes to refill a fuel tank. The company has claimed that its new battery and charging system is capable of providing 470 kilometers of range in 5 minutes of charging. The manufacturer will start selling vehicles with the new technology next month. The auto major also announced for the first time that it would build a charging network across China. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business 360. More news and updates continue right here on CNBC TV 18.